Hey guys, my name is Niclas Huschenbeth, and one more time I would like to analyze a game from my tournament US Masters, which I actually finished today. And the game I would like to analyze is actually from the third round, when I played against Sergei Azarov, Grandmaster, with an ELO of 26-35, I believe. And I didn't have time yet to analyze this game, but now I do, and I would like to do that right now. So I was white, started with e4, e5, and now f4. I played a King's Gambit the second time in my life. And I did it because in all his games he had so far where he played against the King's Gambit, he played bishop c5, and he played it this time again. Bishop c5 is not really the critical test to the King's Gambit. Critical test should be e takes f4, of course, to accept the gambit. Knight f3, d6, c3. So now I would like to build up a strong center with d4, and black has many options to reply here. Knight f6, knight c6, bishop b6, but he plays bishop g4, and he has already done that before, and I thought that's maybe again not the best move in the position, and I might be able to obtain a slight edge. So I played f takes e5, and it was incredible. He spent so much time in the opening. After f takes e5, he spent so much time. I don't know what he was thinking about, because really the only other move than d takes e5 is bishop takes f3, but this is definitely not a move black likes to play. So he took on e5, and now we see the idea, queen a4 check. Now black has to play bishop d7, otherwise he's losing this pawn. For example, queen d7, bishop b5, c6, knight takes e5, and white is just up a pawn. So he has to play bishop d7, and now the queen goes back to c2. So knight c6, b4. So I was still in the middle of my preparation. Actually, my preparation goes maybe 6, 7, 8 moves longer. Bishop d6 now to protect the pawn, b5, but now he surprised me. I mean, the natural move is clearly to play the knight back to e7, but he played to a5. And here my preparation continued with d4, knight g6. This would be just the natural move here, the natural moves. Knight f6, castle, castle, and I think knight bd2 now. And position is about equal, but I think it's a little bit easier to play for white. So I was looking forward to this position, but here he surprised me with knight a5, and this is hardly a good move because the knight is just terribly placed on a5. So I played d4, of course. I mean, it's obvious. Queen e7. And now, well, I said I just finished my development. Now he surprised me again. He played f5. I didn't see this move coming at all. Obviously, the idea is that I cannot take on f5 because, well, I probably would lose a piece here. After e4, bishop takes e4, knight f6, knight bd2, and bishop takes f5. But of course I don't have to take on f5. And I play bishop g5, and actually it would be even stronger to just play knight bd2, just develop. And it's really not working out that well for black to play in the center, especially since he has his misplaced knight on a5. So here I probably would just win a pawn already, and a position would be clearly better for me. Well, I also like bishop g5. This just looked very natural. Knight bd2 now. And I just had to calculate one line, which was e takes d4 at this point. He didn't play that, he played h6. But here I don't take back on d4, because there would be some problems. I just castle. And after d takes c3, e5, I'm just crushing him in the attack here, and it's just hopeless for him. For example, what should he play? Bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, c takes d2, knight takes d7. Well, queen takes d7. Yeah, I mean, so many moves here. I don't even know what to do. Bishop takes f6. Queen takes d2. It's even possible because he can't castle. He would lose his queen. Long castle. Bishop takes f5, and short castle, bishop c4. So yeah, that's just horrible. So obviously he didn't play that. And it was just a great situation for me because I had a good position, plus I was up on time by maybe 40-50 minutes. So everything was going well. He played h6, pretty much forced, I believe. But I take on f6, and now he has to take back with the pawn, because otherwise I just castle, and his king is still in the center, and it's also very bad for him again. So g takes, castle, and now he has to play f4 as well. He can't open up to position. It just doesn't work out here. If he takes on e4, knight takes e4, knight h4, it's just horrible for him. Once again, in case I mentioned it too many times, but it's really annoying for him that his knight is so bad on a5. So he played f4, and now I'm actually exchanging that bad knight, but I'm getting something in return, which is I'm obtaining the a file, and the problem with that for him is that now suddenly he doesn't have a safe spot for his king. Where should he put his king? I mean, obviously he doesn't really want to castle kingside because it's wide open, and he can't castle queenside now because the pawn would be hanging on a7. So here I felt very comfortable with my position, because it's very difficult for him to come up with any plan really to create counterplan. What he's actually going to do is going to sacrifice a pawn to somehow create threats against my king. So he played rook g8, and I thought, well, just play the king out of the g file in case some bishop h3 or anything like that is coming, can't hurt. And now he played h5. And here I made an inaccuracy. I played b4. I should simply play rook a2. It's just a good move to keep the rook here in the second ring anyway. And I'm also looking forward to just double rooks and at some point maybe take on a7. And also some other moves possible, like bishop c4, queen d3. And he isn't really able to create any serious threats on the king side. Alright, but I played b4. I just had this idea of just pushing my pawns forward, c4, c5, something like that. It looked very attractive to me. So I just prepared this, and I also thought about maybe playing queen b3 or something like that, maybe. But the problem here, he could have played now bishop e6. That would have been a good move to just stop me from playing bishop c4 as well. And now I don't want to play d5, because this would just lock everything up here. It would play b6, and suddenly everything is closed, and this is just helping him because his king is in the center. And if somehow all the files open up, then he would be in big trouble. But he didn't play bishop e6. He continued with his plan, just giving me this pawn on h4. Now he wants to play h3, and I didn't want to play h3 myself because, well, he could place a rook on g3 and there might be some sacrifice with his bishop. So I just took on h4. I thought, well, why not? It's a pawn. And I wasn't too worried about his attack, because, I mean, you have to consider he's just attacking with two pieces really, his queen and his rook. So queen h7, knight f3, and now bishop g4. And still I wasn't worried, because even if he takes on f3, I just take back with the pawn and everything is protected here. But now I definitely made a mistake. And it was actually quite easy to see here the right move. Simply bishop c4. I actually had seen this idea before, that I could play my bishop to d5, but somehow it didn't cross my mind in this situation. But here it's just very strong. There are no problems here around my king, and he is having obviously big difficulties just defending this pawn on b7, and it seems like just his complete queenside is falling apart. So that would have been really good for me. But I played c4. I said before, this just looked so attractive to me to push forward my pawns, but actually it's not quite working out. So he took on b4, and now obviously my idea was to play c5. by the way, b6, what I had actually first planned, is unfortunately answered by a5. And that's not really working out for me here. But still, this idea is in a position, so we'll keep that in mind. So c5, but here he plundered now as well. He took on d4. He should play rook h8, so putting some pressure on the h2 pawn. And now, for example, rook a2, now rook d8, and there's really no way through for me. And if I play d5 now, well, then he just plays queen e7, and I'm more or less forced to now close everything, and he's definitely not worse here anymore, because now, of course, with his king, the king is not in danger anymore, and it's actually more my king that I'm a little bit worried about, because, well, the position's just closed on the queen side now. Well, but he missed it. He took on d4, and now I was further trying to opening up files. I played e5. Of course, he has to answer with f5. I mean, otherwise I would just take on f6, so I can't allow that. So f5, and now I spent quite some time. But unfortunately, well, my next move is not too bad, but I had just had the wrong idea, pretty much. I played rook a4. Just b6 now, b6, just opening up files no matter what. So I thought a5, but now c6, just push through. And now definitely files will open up, and position's just winning for white already. I think I was a little bit afraid of my queenside castle here, but the white attack is coming fast enough here. Rook fb1, c takes b6, rook takes b4, and it's just winning here. I have to check how exactly it's winning. Well, just check here, and yeah, that should be pretty much it. King takes, bishop a6 check, and king b8. That would be a question. What happens after king b8? Well, well, I should have checked it maybe a little bit closer here, but this is definitely winning. So take on b4. Well, I don't want to spend too much time here. Maybe it's just a simple solution, but I'm not seeing. Maybe c7 or something like that, actually. Yeah, c7 looks like the crushing move. Yep. So that should be it. Okay. A queen takes c7, and then rook a8, king d7, bishop b5. Yes, this is winning. All right. So b6 was very strong, and yeah, I should have gone for that. Also, after the variation b6, a5, c6, c takes b6, then just take on b7, and now when the queen is on b7, so there are no threats against h2 anymore, I can simply take on d4, and if the d pawn is falling, I mean, just the whole black position is falling apart here. Alright, I played rook a4, and actually, quite embarrassingly, my idea here was to take on d4 with the knight. And everything would work out here if black couldn't simply take on d4. It didn't cross my mind that he would give up his bishop here. Well, I didn't play that because now it's just losing after rook h8, and I have no good way to protect my pawn on h2. So now I had to come up with a new plan. I played b6 now, which is good, a5, and now my next move, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just horrible. I mean, I'm playing on the queen side, and now suddenly I make a move on the king side with h3, just switching plans completely. That's just completely wrong. I have two very good moves here. One is, again, c6. Just, again, it's still good, even though I played rook a4, bishop c3, which doesn't really look like an improvement for me. But still, just opening up files. C takes b6 is pretty much the same thing here. Just still winning, and there's no way for black to avoid that. And also here again, queenside castle, take on b7, take on c7, rook c4, and now knight takes d4. Already tactical blows are possible. Just look at this variation till the end. Rook b1, and well, it's over. So that was one good move, and the other one was simply to take on c7. And now rook h8. Now, well, I had to see this move to play that queen b3 here to enter on e6. This is very important here. As now bishop takes f3. Well, doesn't work because of, I think, queen e6, and now obviously I'm queening, so that's no good for him. So he has to take this pawn off, but now also queen e6 check, and again I'm having a very good position. But I played h3, and now he's able to just close everything with c6, and well, as we have seen before, if he's able to protect his king so that not too many files open up, then he's alright, and he's actually already better here. So my idea with h3 was now to play knight h2 and to push this bishop away to take on f5 then. But he plays queen h6, and now obviously I can't take on g4 because of rook h8. By the way, he had to play queen h6 because otherwise I would be able to take with the knight on g4. So this is why he had to go out of this pin. He played queen h6, which was good, and now I took on f5, but now he's able to force me into an endgame, and of course this was just what I didn't want to have. I mean, I just want to keep the queens because then I have always ideas against his king, mating ideas, attacking ideas. But now he's threatening checkmate and exchange, so I have to take on g6. And we have now reached an incredible complex endgame. I mean, just look at the position. It's just crazy pawn structure really. But he's better here because just his bishop is very strong obviously, and all these pawns can be easily become weak. Just imagine bishop b4, take, and something like that. So I played knight f3 now, which is, I think, a decent move. I didn't take on f4. There was no time to do that. I think the d pawn can become very strong then. So knight f3, rook d8, rook d1, just trying to stop everything. So he played rook d5. Also bishop b4 would be possible here already. And just collect the pawns. And this endgame is definitely favoring him, but I still have some chances. So he played rook d5, also a good move. Now rook c4. So now at least, well, he can actually still play bishop b4. Actually, it's still good for him. Again, he will collect all the pawns and will end up with this position. It's equal pawns, but he has 3 connected pawns, plus he has the bishop, and you might know this rule of thumb. The bishop usually is better if he can play on both sides of the board, whereas the knight is able to better play on one side of the board. So, and here we have obviously pawns on both sides of the board, so the bishop is able to, on the one hand, support his own pawns, the black pawns, as well as on the other hand, stop my pawns. So he has very good winning chances here. But he played rook g3, and I played king h2. I just thought it was a good move. I mean, we were both very short on time here, just and it's still so difficult what to play really for me, because I mean it's all stuck. So he played king d7. Now I thought, well, you know what, I can just sit here and wait while he's improving his position, bringing his king closer. So I just took on d4, and this looks kind of very dangerous because I'm now in this pin, and there's actually no way out of this pin. I mean, I didn't see a way out of this pin during the game. So he played rook e3, and now I played e6 check, and now he made an unbelievable blunder, really. I mean, it's amazing to me that this happened. He played king e7. We were both very short on time, but I mean, it's just natural that you don't place your king on e7, where checks can be coming on f5 or c6 when you're so short in time and you maybe are not able to calculate all the variations. So he should have just played king e8. And I'm actually not losing my knight, because he can't play rook e4, obviously, because his bishop is hanging too. And I think after bishop b2 I can simply play rook d2. But he can play bishop e1 here, that would be strong. And now rook cc1, bishop takes, knight f3, and in this variation black will be also clearly better. For example, rook d7, rook takes e6, rook takes b6. For one moment it looks good for white, but now he takes with check and brings his rook behind my pawn, and this should be pretty good for black here. Well, but let's see what happened in the game. He played king e7, and it was the 38th move. I had maybe 1.5 minutes or something like that. But of course the first move which comes to mind is knight takes c6. And it works. It works. So first I was looking here at b7, and then I saw, okay, well, he just plays bishop e5, right? Alright, before we see this variation, just one quick note here. King takes e6 is also not helping anymore because of knight d8 check, king e5, and now knight f7 check, important to give one more check, and now c6. And it was important to take away the square as well. And now I'm just queening again here. c7 or c takes b7. Well, I guess doesn't matter that much. Well, maybe c7 is better, just to queen with check. So, but he took on c6. But then I thought, why not eliminate the bishop on c3 as well? So I first took on d5 and then took on c3. Actually, c6 here is winning as well, but rook c3 is easier. And well, he took back. I played b7, and now he has no way to stop the pawns. I mean, he resigned at this point, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Rook b3, c6, and it's very important that I still have my pawn on e6, because after king d6, now I can distract the king with e7, king takes, and now c7. And I mean, we don't really have to take a look at this anymore, because we'll have two pawns here, and it's just completely hopeless. So my opponent resigned at this point. Yeah, very exciting game. I mean, out of the opening I was clearly better, at very pleasant position. But then, I don't know, I maybe panicked a little bit, because suddenly, well, I overlooked this one thing. I played rook a4 with the idea knight takes d4, and it just didn't work. And then I was panicking. I was like, oh no, I'm messing up. I had such a good position, and I played this h3 move, which was horrible. And in the end, I have to say, I was a little bit lucky. I mean, really big blunder by him to play king e7. Even if he, I mean, even if he wasn't sure, just place the king on e8. Just don't take the risk. I mean, so I was lucky a little bit. All right. So that was my last game I want to share with you from the US Masters. I made 6.5 points out of 9. I'm very happy with my result. Beat 4 Grandmasters. I think I've never beaten that many Grandmasters in one tournament. So went really well. And well, if you have any questions or comments about this game, you know what to do. Just post them below. And thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.